Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Buster, Jay the Gentleman. This is For the Record. We're at Milkcrate Cafe, Jay. You ready to do some shopping?
I love it. It's one of my favorite places to go look for CDs, but also vinyl.
Yeah. And we're going to see who has the better taste. So stick around at the end and see what you like.
I have the better taste. Watch, come on.
Cool.
There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, buddy.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Not at all, and that's the best way to shop for records.
Just go in blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I find it very interesting that One Direction is here in the rock genre.
Yeah.
I mean, look how young Harry is. Like,
I guess they're rock, right? They use guitars.
They're a band?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're white guys?
Yeah. I mean, check, right?
Last record I bought was Guns N' Roses. It was an FM broadcast that they did in the 80s at a record store.
What?
See, when I go shopping for records, I don't like to buy a polished album. I can listen to that on streaming or whatever.
Sure.
I like to find like bootlegs or something that was recorded from a live set or like, and this was recorded on the radio in New York.
Like unsold sessions and
yes.
things like that.
Yeah, that's
okay. All right.
What about you? What was the last record you bought?
I think the last one, it was the country album with the Outlaws with like Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. I got that one.
Cool.
I found that one. That one was really cool.
I like this genre. Everything else.
If you haven't figured out what genre you want, this is everything else. It's all over here.
A lot of times I'll find cool stuff in there. Another thing that I like to shop for is soundtracks to movies.
Yeah.
And like scores. Those are cool vinyls to grab.
So I'm at the level with my CD collection where I'm looking for soundtracks. Mm-hmm. I got a couple albums. Like as far as vinyl, what's been your really good soundtrack that you got?
The Clerk soundtrack is a good one on vinyl. Yeah,
that's a good one.
And there's some bangers on there.
Yeah.
No.
So for me, I like to look for. I don't really like the one that's packaged, like new. Yeah. I like to look for stuff that's been used, because sometimes they have like notes in them and people underlining things.
Totally.
Just to kind of get that. And it was like pressed when it came out. Like, so you're getting albums that were around from the 70s, 60s, 80s. So I know it has like the little personality.
You don't want it too used though.
Oh no, not to.
It's like women.
And places like this, they know they're not going to sell it. This guy. It almost got past me. It almost did.
In order for musical evolution to continue, the next generation has to like something that the previous generation doesn't. We're not supposed to be on the same page.
Right.
We had our bullshit.
Yeah. What was like your first memory of like playing music yourself? Like you set it up?
So my family was a big music household. So like when I was a kid, we had one of those big stereo systems. And we had the big floor speakers.
Like the shelf.
Yeah. And my uncle was a musician. He's a drummer.
Okay.
And so he was always putting me on to stuff. My mom worked in the bars, so she would hear music at work and then come home and play stuff for me. And so like, I remember, dude, I was so deep into music when I was a kid that my stepdad, he had blocked MTV on the TV. You had to, because I watched too much of it. I would just sit and watch music videos.
He was like, you need to go outside.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine now, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, like it was like the turntable on top.
Yep.
Then the radio receiver. Then like the CD player. Then the tape deck. It was all in the show.
Big ass speakers.
Big speakers.
Yep.
And I remember like understanding how to put it on, changing the size, changing to the 45 because of the little thing. Yeah. And my first album, I remember vividly. I'm still looking for this album too. I want to find it. I want to buy it. It was Alvin and the Chipmunks singing the Beatles.
Whoa.
So, I was a big Alvin and the Chipmunks fan, and the Beatles, like, to me, I have a special place in my heart for the Beatles.
How can you not?
Yeah, and it was just like, Love Me Do, but imagine them singing by the Alvin and the Chipmunks.
That's awesome.
So that's my first memory. So that's been probably my holy grail, is finding that album randomly. So, if you have a hint, let me know, all right?
With my mom, we went to see Weird Al.
Okay. Actually, he got bangers.
Bangers, bro. Weird Al's got it.
He's got bangers.
Weird Al's the man. And then my first concert, like with my buddies, I remember it was the night before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My friend Ryan and I drove down to the State Theater in Detroit.
Yeah.
To see D12 with Cottonmouth Kings.
Jeez.
It was the shit.
What year was that?
2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was Erykah Badu, Jurassic 5.
Whoa. I love J5.
And Outkast. Outkast was the headline. And this was Outkast like 2001. So they were on top of the world. They haven't even dropped Speaker Box yet.
Yeah.
So Stankonia had just launched. So it was around that era. And it was here. It was actually here. It was at in Camden, what used to be the Tweeter Center.
The 9 million names.
Right.
Tweeter Center, Best Buy Center.
Now it's B&B?
No, it was BB&T. Now it's like Freedom Mortgage.
That's what it is, yeah. But it went through a
Susquehanna.
I feel like every time you just start giggling to yourself, you're up to no good. Did you find something?
Oh, I did. I found Bill Cosby's Revenge.
That doesn't hold up well at all nowadays. That's tough.
He's coming for you. Look at the finger guns. He's coming.
He said, pew pew.
Pew pew.
Wow.
Put something in your drink.
Oh, yikes.
Because when I was a teenager, I was definitely like headphones on in high school.
Yeah.
You know, trying to listen to stuff that nobody else listened to.
Sure.
Because I'm cool. You don't know. I knew them before they were big.
The backpack rapper minus the rapping.
Just
Yeah, just the backpack.
Just the backpack.
Taking forever. He's nervous. He's shook. He don't know what he's gonna get.
Shut up.
I think I got mine.
Who put you on?
That's what I was gonna say. Like I had my uncle Joseph. He listened to a lot of the '90s like pop dance stuff, and then my other uncle Peter, he listened to more of the classic stuff, the classic rock stuff, and then my grandparents listening to everything from Tejano to Patsy Cline, and then I had my sisters, and we listened to R&B, hip hop, alternative at the time. I mean, the '90s was just the greatest decade of all time.
90s was. Although the 80s were up there, man.
Up
Huey
there.
Lewis, what's up?
There you go. One thing I like about here as well, they have like really good prices, but also like something $5. This record's $5, but you can also get 5 for $20.
That's cool.
So if you're a beginner or you want to, build your catalog, this is a good way to do it.
For those who are math deficient, that means you get a free record.
ICP is also from Detroit.
Yeah, Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very interesting, like, because, I mean, Detroit, obviously, the Motown sound, but if you fast forward to your era, you have Eminem, ICP, Kid Rock, all in the same, around the same time.
Yeah.
It's very like.
Well, and that's why they started beefing, because M was trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
And he put out a poster, a concert flyer, and he wrote on the flyer before he made copies, ICP might appear.
Okay.
Because they were invited. It was like special invited.
But he said
ICP.
might.
Yes.
Okay.
They got pissed about that, and they were like, "We're not going to your shitty concert. We don't even know who you are." So then M came out with a whole line where he was like, "Fuck ICP, buy my CD." So then they started beefing off
that. And Eminem became one of the biggest artists of
all time, and ICP is ICP.
They have a great weird following. I don't want to say weird. I don't want to be dismissive, but they have a very interesting following.
It's weird, but I'll say this: they invented no label, making all the money yourself out of their trunk. Became huge. The Juggalo movement is massive.
People have tattoos of their logo. That's
but
insane.
in Detroit, you were either a Juggalo or you were a Stan. You were on one side of the table or the other.
So
straight up.
I feel like growing up in Texas, you were either Cash Money or No Limit.
I bet.
Yeah, it was around the same
Which
time.
one were you, by the way?
So I started off, I think only because they were first at the time. I was a big No Limit guy.
Yeah. I loved
but just like they just had anthems, but his mind for business was.
I agree. Master P had it going on too.
Yeah,
man.
but then after a while, Cash Money just had hits, and I don't know,
took off.
Yeah, and
that Juvenile album.
Yeah, like that whole movement was crazy. I'm not afraid to say it. If I see a cool album cover, I'm just gonna buy it. I don't know what. Straight up. Even if I don't know what genre it is, or who the band is, or who the group is. If it looks cool, I'll just buy it.
The phrase is "Don't judge a book by its cover."
Yeah.
I've done it my entire life.
Yeah.
So Motown, obviously another Detroit sound.
Detroit sound.
Right. What was cool about Motown for me as a kid, obviously I was too young. I wasn't around for the real Motown era.
Sure.
But I had this music teacher come through, right?
Okay.
When I was like 10 years old, our music teacher retired. His name was Mr. Piccolo, because of course it was.
Okay.
If your last name's Piccolo, you gotta be a music teacher.
I think that's the rule.
Yeah. So he retires.
Okay.
In comes Mrs. Anjali. And Mrs. Anjali was worldly. She was cultured. She had been around.
Sure.
She traveled the world all the time. And so one of her big things was, it was day one of our music class, and she does it all theatrically like this. She takes our music book and takes it and throws it in the trash, like Alondra Blaze doing the Women's World title in WCW. She throws it in the trash, and she's like, we're in Detroit. You're not learning any of these basic songs that every school in America gets to learn. And then she pulls out the Motown book. She's like, we're doing a Motown concert. You guys are learning all the Motown shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, shout out Mrs. Anjali.
Was this like elementary?
Yeah, I was like 10.
Whoa. Was that like something that clicked for you, like to like?
Without question.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really great core memory.
Mrs. Anjali.
Yeah.
She was like, this is Motown.
Have you like ever like seen her after?
I wrote her an email. Wow. I wrote her an email when I got into radio and was like, hey, just want to shout you out. Like, you're one of my earliest musical memories.
That's a great story,
and,
man.
like, wanted to put you up. Like,
wow.
Yeah. She didn't write me back.
Damn. Now's
the moment of truth, Jay.
Yes, it is.
Let's see what sort of stack of crap you have.
Let's see how bad I won today. All right, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aerosmith, Look What Homeward Angel, not an official release.
That's a good one.
But plenty of good music on here. This has Toys in the Attic.
Yep.
It has Dream On, one of the biggest songs like ever.
Yep, for sure.
And it was 1975. I think it's a live performance. Steven Tyler. Look at young Steven Tyler. And also, look at the vibe on the whole band, dude.
It's rock stars.
Rock star.
You can look at them.
That's as rock star as it gets. They don't make rock stars.
One of the
like
greatest
anymore.
American rock bands of all time.
I think they're very underrated. They don't get talked about as so legendary.
The 90s, they had a run that was
crazy. With the Alicia Silverstone videos.
Shout out to her and Liv Tyler. I've been looking for this one for a long time. Just for me, I've always come across it, but it's always been like the new one. But I want to find it used, so you can see like it's like a little tattered up here.
Yep.
Still has really not a lot of scratches. I mean, this is the one that put them on the map. I mean, look at that.
If you ask
Artwork.
me, there isn't a bad Led Zeppelin song.
No.
Those guys were so good.
I mean, there's like that's when everyone just knew how to play a song, like play an instrument, but they also sang,
Right.
like without any effects.
I told you I like soundtracks. I love 80s music.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Tom Hanks' Bachelor Party. This has REM, the Fishtown.
Yeah.
Also has Rick Derringer.
Well, let's talk about the movie first. If you have not seen Bachelor Party, let's just say 80s was a wild time.
Wild, bro.
80s was a hell of a drug.
Yeah. I feel like...
And this is one of those movies that's like, what? This one reminds me of my aunt. One of my Aunt Teresa, shout out to her. She loves mandrill. And they always have really cool covers.
Yeah. Tell me about mandrill.
So 70s funk, soul, R&B.
Cool.
One of those bands where if you didn't know, but a lot of producers, hip hop producers, sample from them.
My mother put me on to a Detroit legend by the name of Bob Seger.
Oh yeah, Bob Seger. Yeah,
This is, without a doubt, the best live album ever.
That's a hot take.
Turn the Page, I'll be dancing with my mom at the wedding.
Yeah.
That's going to be our song.
Really?
Absolutely. My mom got this on CD from a garage sale one day while we were just driving around. She stopped at a garage sale. She buys this and she's like, just wait, I'm about to put you on. We get in the car.
Okay.
Since then, this album will always remind me of my mom. We've sung every word to every song together.
Did she go to that?
No, but I did get to take her to see Bob Seger.
Oh, that's awesome. Kanye and Cudi, Kids See Ghost. I haven't found this album.
I haven't seen this on vinyl.
Real. Yeah, like usually it's like wrapped up, but it was previously owned.
Yeah.
This was like the era of Kanye where things started to shift dramatically.
Sure.
Yeah, and obviously the artwork. I mean, it's really cool. So
you mentioned the artwork, and you mentioned picking an album just based off of its cover and not knowing anything about the album.
Yeah.
Van Halen, Fair Warning. I don't know what Van Halen songs are on this. I can look now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Unchained, Push Comes to Shove, So This Is Love, Sunday Afternoon in the Park. These are all stiffs. These are none of their hits.
I feel like that's like one of their older.
It's got to be one of their first albums, and I'm simply picking it because of the album cover.
Yeah.
Look at how much fun is happening on this thing.
New York Dolls.
Fire.
I have their first one. I actually found it here as well. I was looking for that one, found it. I was like, yes. I was like, let me see if I can find the next one. If you don't know the New York Dolls,
Get a look at these guys.
yeah, like
That's another band right there, man.
they were just made for stardom. A part of that whole
Yeah.
CBGB movement in the beginning.
Which I would have loved to have checked out.
That, to me, I'm just like,
Could you imagine us promoting shows at CBG?
it would be insane.
Last pick for me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite rappers of all time. Not because of his lyricism, although he does have some great lyrics,
Okay.
especially the first couple albums
Okay.
and the mixtapes. But just as a personality.
Yeah.
So problematic.
Yes.
And it was in his debut, How to Rob. This is 50 Cent. This is the single. This is off the In Too Deep soundtrack.
That is a good one.
How to Rob is the song that got him signed, is the song that got him all the national attention because he's making fun of every rapper there is.
And R&B singers.
And yeah, he comes at all of them.
Yes.
It is one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite concepts of a song.
Sure.
To get put on by calling everybody out.
That is as far as hip hop, that is a classic song, and that really like you said, the catalyst for him to get to where he was at that time, early 2000s. 50 Cent was untouchable.
Absolutely.
Untouchable.
And if you listen to like the Power of the Dollar or Guess Who's Back mixtapes,
Yeah.
you can hear the early grit, but you can also hear the like stardom
Yeah.
in him specifically. And I didn't even know that this was on a movie soundtrack.
I didn't either.
I found that out today here at Milkcrate.
Just now.
Yeah. And so I'm taking this.
How to Rob, that's a great one. I'll give you that one. So my last pick, it was a little something for the ladies.
Oh.
Because I am a gentleman.
We're going, I'm going to slow it down.
You know what I'm
Couple
saying?
skate only.
And a couple skate only, adult swim. And I wanted to get an album that wasn't open yet, and Kaliukas, Isolation. I feel like she's in the genre right now of those singers, artists right now that are killing it, but I feel like she doesn't get the attention and or the respect that she deserves. And she sings bilingual too. So for me, that's really dope.
So she's into chicks?
She might be. I don't know. I ain't.
Hey, you tell us what you think. Who had the better stack?
I
Either
did.
way,
It's cool.
it's cool to be you and listen to whatever the hell you want.
That's it.
Come check out Milkcrate Cafe, and we'll see you on the next John.
Peace.